got your drawings loaded up, you've gone through the specs. Now it is time for takeoff. Okay, so again, we're going to go back. We're going to continue on the same job we've been working on. You're going to go to your electric estimating. You're going to go back to upcoming bids. You're going to select that job. And you are going to open up Bluebeam so you have the separate set of prints. And the reason why is I'll usually have one on one screen, one Accubid in the center, and then live count on the other screen. So I'm pulling Bluebeam away, put that on the other screen. We're going to open up Accubid on this one. We are going to then select the job that we had in our previous video. And on this screen, I'm going to put a live count. And then in the, well, it's going to be tough actually. I'm trying to think the best way to do this between the two. Wheatland Chile Central School District Phase 2. We're going to open the job we created earlier. Live count is launching. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to attempt to split screen this between live count and Accubid to try to keep it all on one screen. So let's see if this is going to work. All right, or how well this is going to work. Oh, this is gone now. What's happening? Okay, we'll shrink this side up a little bit. Okay, all right. We're gonna turn off show deleted takeoffs. And I'm gonna go into the, I'm looking at Bluebeam right now to see which drawing I actually want to start on. We're just going to open it up here and then we'll go. Okay, so this is just systems plan B. This is one we've already did the scale on earlier. So this is, and the reason I like to have both is because I can't read these notes while I'm doing a takeoff. So for me, if I'm on that drawing, I would like to have, which one are we on? We're on EH01B. So in my Bluebeam, I'll usually put that's where I'll scroll through the notes in this general notes section while I'm doing the takeoff. So if I have to read that, I'm not zooming in and out on live count to try to figure out what's going on. Okay, so right here, what do we got? I am going to read through these first. So I'll pause this real quick while I read the general notes. Okay, just a couple of things of note on here that I saw is which is pretty typical, but where it says fire alarm system wiring in open area shall be a conduit. That's usually, that's pretty typical. There's also, it talks about down here in the general notes that you need to engage the services of day automation for installation of new access control devices. So this would be something too, if I was going back through the specs, you're going to want to check the 2800 section to see what the requirement is for day automation. So sometimes it's owner provided devices, electrical installer. So real quick, this is just triggering me to go look at it. So since we're doing it, I'm going to go. And there's usually a security matrix in here that tells you who is responsible for what. Well, let's see here. I don't even see the security section in there. So that probably means that it is going to be covered by day, but we'll have to look at that somewhere else just to be sure. Actually, don't even have it in here. So we'll go back and I'll look for that after the fact, but that's something to look for is the provide equipment, associate kit, door contract should be 2 pole, 1 pole. So this might also be on the general notes of the homepage about the security aspect of it. So I don't want to go too far down a rabbit hole right now, but I do want to know who is responsible for the security side of it. All right, we'll discover that a little bit later on in the video, but something to keep in mind. All right, back to doing a takeoff. Okay. So there's 2 ways to do this, right? You can do either a live count, which is a way to do a search, and that's what this auto count function is, right? So this auto count function, it works okay. Sometimes you're better just counting them manually, and so sometimes what I'll do to speed things up is I will take this and I'll add CO detector, and you've got an option for original rotation, 90-degree rotation, or custom rotation. So basically, original rotation just means it's sitting like this, and that's how it looks on the print, which is not the case a lot of the times. 90-degree rotations mean it'll be this and 90 degrees. Custom rotations will be everything. If you can see right there, it basically goes 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. But it takes a little bit to find it. So what I'll do is sometimes I'll run these in the background because I know for sure receptacles will never be always the same way. A CO detector, we'll try original rotation because these typically they don't list them. They list them kind of just like that. But you can even see right up here, right, with these fire alarms. So if we were going to do these AVs right here, or just visuals, if we had it just set at this original rotation, it would not pick these ones up. You know, if we scan one of these and then set it to original rotation, it probably wouldn't grab these. So what we're going to do is we're going to search that. And while you're doing this, you can also do multiple searches, right? So this is just a good way to try to speed through the bids. And this one, since I already know there's different rotations, I'm going to put custom rotations and I'm just going to leave it right there. Okay, so in the background, it's actually, excuse me, thank you. It's conducting the search on these. So while I'm doing this, and I can move on to doing other things at the same time. So I'm going to do another auto count on this and these. Okay. I'm just trying to see other random things that have popping around in here. I'll probably just do a takeoff for the rest of them. Now I'm actually going to leave this drawing while this is doing the search on the rest of these, and I'm going to start. Okay. So, and again, another thing, like I probably should, but I don't even know what that symbol is right there. So for that, you're going to go back to the general notes and symbols page if you've got a question on it. Just going to it right here because these are all labeled. You're going to open up your E0100 and you're going to reference what it is that is actually listed at. So that does not look the same. I'm assuming that's just an upside down combo heat. Yes, okay, so that's just a combination smoke heat detector. Well, that one's showing heat detector. Okay, so I had those backwards actually. So, oh yeah, that's the dancing. So that's just a heat. This one's actually smoke. My mistake. And then we're going to do another new search on this one, and we're just going to put heat detectors. These are pretty much going to be the same either way in terms of time for install. And then we're going to, all right, so then now we've got that running in the background. I'm actually going to move on to another print. So sometimes I will go through and just do auto counts on all of these to get them moving. And then demolition for me, I mean, there's a lot on this one. So, but again, like the demolition hours that you're going to get off of Accubid are not very reflective of what the initial demo would actually be. So for me, I'll generally just look at these and take off a number. But if you want to do it and do the proper way, you can do the same thing. We could do an auto count on these. Okay. And then we can walk away from that. And then if we wanted to do it, we'll wait for, these are all going to take a minute to go. So again, that's just demo. But for me, I'll usually just make up the hours that I want to do for demo. So I'll look at it just from doing it, and what I'll do is I'll make a temporary item, and I usually have 1 labor hour set in there. I think I showed this on the last video, and I'll do 1 labor hour, and then when I'm actually marking what I'm going to do on the takeoff, I'll write like, a count of 100 if I think it's going to be 100 hours. Okay. Okay, so you can see the auto count has now wrapped up, but we were bouncing around, and it's probably finished on that other job that we were looking at too. So you want to make sure again that you have an enable live count auto launch turned on, and it should be already be on the drawing. This is actually systems, so we're going to want to put this on, depending on which one we do, because they've got, oh, this is all fire alarm. So we're going to put this as fire alarm. That way it will track different, both on live count, it will have a different color. And when we're selecting the systems to toggle them on and off, then we'll be able to see them. But usually there's power and systems are on the same plan. So this may just be fire alarm here. Okay. So once we've done this, right, and we've done our counts, you're gonna hit draw and close or draw and continue. So what that means is it's basically gonna add these to the drawing. You're gonna see markups on the drawing after this. So there you go. We're gonna hit draw and close. And there you go. So we've got these drawn right here. And now you're like, all right, we just got some random dots. What do I do with these dots? So from there, you are going to you're going to have to link this to an existing takeoff. So the way you do that is we are going to add on here common assemblies. We're going to go to system fire alarm. And I always throw in, so these, since they're initiating devices, like you've got signaling devices, which are AEVs, and initiating devices. These are going to go under fire alarm initiating conventional. And these are just smokes. So we're going to put that on there. And what we want to do is we want to select existing, and we're going to link those two. So now what that has done is it's actually added those, because you can see we had a 10 count over here. And now I lost myself. We've got a 10 count over here, and now our 10 count has been counted since it's already been drawn and it's on there. So we can actually delete that now, because now we've actually added this as a value on there. So same thing. I actually probably should have done something different because it was COs, but what you're trying to get is you're trying to get like fire alarm devices for the most part are fairly similar. This basically just this, even though it's a common assembly, didn't carry enough stuff for it. So I usually still like to put like there's no conduit, there's no wire. Even if we double into that, it's just the base, the initiating device, and the cable tag. So again, I'm going to right click that. Where usually there's some mounting stuff, so like you're going to want to have device mounting on here. And since this is me, I've already got these counts on here. I could either do this, right? So I could go into the existing one since we've already got a count of 10, and I could double click on this. No, is it? Let me turn this off actually. Let me finish this. Hang on. It's gonna be picky. Oh, it won't allow me to add it on this one. Oh yeah, well, okay. You got to double click. I'm sorry, I made a mistake on the second to last value. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add on here in this existing takeoff devices. I'm going to go again, drop down, common assembly, and I'm going to go to system fire alarm, and then I'm going to add device mounting, and I'm going to do this. So that'll add that all on there, and then I'm also going to add. So you can see it added device box mounting, self-tapping screws. And then I'm going to add in here an additional thing. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be clicking on that. I'm going to go back down to here, add. And now I'm going to add the system fire alarm. I'm going to add a conduit and flex drop for this. Okay. So you can see it added the connector, the aluminum flex, and then it added the entire common assembly into this already count of 10, and it already factors it. So this saves you when you do it this way. Okay. So this is basically like the top of our pyramid again, right? And then this is once we go into it, it gets deeper again. But when you do it that way, then it automatically brings, like, you don't have to do another common assembly and write 10, or you don't have to do another common assembly and continue to click around for like device mounts everywhere, you know, to get a count of 10 for that. You add it to your existing count of 10 for the CO detectors, and then it includes it with that count, using that count that you have as the basically the default. I don't know if that, I'm not making sense on that one, but hopefully you get it. Okay, so same thing. We've got AVs right here, and we've got 20 of them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue with the live count enabled right there. I'm going to go to common assemblies, and what I'm going to do is fire an alarm, and this is, since they're AVs, they're going to be signaling. And I'm going to do wall mount because there's typically, and again, it doesn't matter if you get it, if it's a wall mount for a horn or a strobe. Not really, because what you wanted, these labor hours are pretty much going to be the same material. It's not really going to change. So I'll get free and loose sometimes with this just to keep speed going. But strobe, wall mount, and then what we're going to do is, again, we're going to select exist. Oh, I didn't draw those other ones, so I can't select existing because I haven't drawn these yet. So what I need to do is I need to go in here. I need to review that these are all right, and then I have to draw and close those. So now that I've done that, now I can click on this wall mount, and it's saying waiting for values from live count. I'm going to go select existing, and I'm going to go here. And I'm going to choose my auto count stuff. So what this does, the reason I do it this way is because now I don't, like, when I go through and if I work my way through a drawing and I do auto counts beforehand, while it's doing all those auto counts, I go back to like the very first drawing that I did. So I'm trying to streamline this a little bit, but I don't remember the other one that we looked at. Maybe it was system A that we did auto count on. No. It wasn't a demo plan. Was it? System B. It was a demo plan, I think. Was it? Okay. So yes, you can see on this one we did a smoke detector, and there was 87 of them, so it had already counted those for us, right? So if you go through the drawings and you start doing auto counts on something like this, especially that has a lot of devices, and you just set up your auto counts, then you move on to the next drawing. And while it's sitting here thinking, trying to figure out what it's going to do, you've moved on to the next drawing, you start the auto count on that. Same thing, you start the next auto count, because otherwise you're just going to be sitting here waiting. And by the time you get through all the drawings, you could probably go back to the first drawing that you started with, and the count should already be added on there. Now you're going to have to do manual counts after that fact, because it doesn't always pick up everything. But this at least speeds up the process so that you are you can get through the bid quicker. Okay, so all right, we've added our AVs, and just once again, I'm going to show you right here. You always want to see what, so that only carries this much stuff. It's not carrying everything again. It's not, you know, it doesn't really have any labor or material. So again, I'm going to click on that last thing, and I am going to add in here. So if it's a wall strobe, we're going to have to get conduit and stuff down there for it. So we are going to go back to common assemblies. And we're going to go to systems fire alarm, and then we are going to, so we've got signaling devices with conduit, rough and no wire, and initially it's initiating and signaling devices with rough and wire. So since this is wall mount, right, again, I'm going to put, you're going to want to know what kind of, this does make a difference, right? So you're going to want to know, oh, this one's got ceiling mount on there. Either way, you're going to want to know what kind of wall it is, because masonry adds more labor hours than a metal stud does. So you'll also have to get used to going through the architecturals if you have questions to verify that you know basically what you're working on. The goal is to like study the prints beforehand and then start flying through with the takeoff. So I already know what this is, so we're going to go ahead and just put these on there for now. Okay, we're going to close that. Okay, and you can see now it's added all of these additional devices on here. So I actually think I clicked on this twice. I did. So it added it more than it should have. So I'm just trying to find the starting line for these. Right there. Delete those. Okay. So now we've got our conduit and wire, and we've got our devices. So the way I like to do it is I like to get all of my devices, and then I kind of draw my branch circuiting and stuff, or fire alarm conduit around that. So, okay, so now that's added to that. It took the counts from there. We can delete that guy. This one is done. Now, we're going to do smoke detectors. It's basically going to be the same process. So, okay, now smoke detectors, we'll do this one too. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on it. We're going to review each of these. If we wanted to get rid of one of these, we would just delete it from right there. But these all look to be accurate. So we're going to draw and close. All right, and now we've got our little dots, these little translucent dots. Those are the ones that you've just drawn on there. They don't have any takeoffs associated with them yet. We've gone from 65, that's how much we initially drew, and that's how much we put on the drawing. So again, let's see here, these are ceiling mount, and these are smoke detectors. So what we are going to do is we are going to go common assembly, and this is an initiating device, right? So I right click to go back to the top of the pyramid in common assemblies to get back, I don't know how you would call that, of the hierarchy, I guess, the starting point. So now we're back at systems. And then these are initiating because they're smoke detectors, conventional. And then, I mean, none of this really matters, but between which one of these you choose. So I'm just going to go ion smoke. And again, we don't have that much of, we don't have boxes and stuff for it right here, so we're going to have to add that. If I was just doing a regular takeoff and I wanted to add them this way, I would just go draw new, and I would go click, 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 and they would draw it on there. But since we already did the auto count again, I'm going to select an existing markup that we did, and then again, I'm going to link these. So now, as opposed to me going around and going click, 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 it's already gotten added to our takeoff right there with the counts. So again, we're at the top of the pyramid for our takeoff. We're going to go into the individual item. And this is where we were missing the boxes before. We know we needed to add that. So we're going to go into that common assembly, and then we're going to add another common assembly. And that is going to be systems fire alarm. And then we're initially signal devices with wire. And then we are going to go okay. Why is that not shown in there? Oh, I can't find this for some reason. Let's see here. Okay. So I'm just going to put this right here, which is the C bar. I don't know why I can't find the ceiling mount. I'm just blind right now. But either way, it's going to be pretty similar, right? So it's going to add wire, and it's going to add boxes. It's going to add everything else. So we've added that on there. Close. We're going to hit OK. All right, now those have all been added to the... Now, all right, so we just got a question from Josh Foote in our audience today, and he was asking if there was devices on here that, let's say your auto count missed. Like you can see, we've got some additional heats right here. That actually I don't think I picked up on the first one, or an additional smoke right here. So what you can do is, okay, so then we've got, I don't know, so yeah, so again, the way you do that is, right, so you've got your takeoffs over here. So let's say I saw that I missed something, or I wanted to add to this. The only one I saw was a heat detector, but again, for time's sake, I'm going to treat kind of heats and smokes the same. So just for this one, it says smoke because the time frame is no different for the two of those. What I would do is I would click on one of these right here, since we have auto count labeled, or we have auto count enabled right here. And if I right click, right, so that's bringing up the smoke hardware. If I right click on this and I click add to run, this is going to add these devices. And let's see if we can slide this over so you can see. So right now our count's 64. We're going to go click. It's going to bring it up to see. Yeah, now our total count's gone up to 65. Click, 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 click. Hope you like the sound effects. And then recommit to that. And you can see same thing. The auto count did not pick up these right here, right? So in order for us to add those, our strobe wall mount, we're going to go, there's two ways to do it. You could either disable live count, and I'm just showing you both just for full knowledge of how to do it sake. You could click this, modify it, and I could just up the count by clicking right here and just changing this value. But that's going to kind of throw off your live count. So I only do that when I don't, it's not linked into live count. So again, the strobe wall mount, I'm going to find existing one. I'm going to click add to run, and I'm going to click it, and it's going to continue to add that on there. So the goal is to pretty much have everything on your drawing covered. So if it was, there's two ways to do this, because if it was just me, I would, since it's all fire alarm still, these are pretty much going to be the same as the AVs too. In terms of labor, install, and wire wise, it's basically just a different device, but everything else is pretty much the same. Okay. Then you're going to right click again on the drawing, and then once you hit right click, it's going to bring up that option. You're going to hit commit. And again, I don't know if I said that here, but this is a right click to bring up the add to run. And that's how you add those onto live count. Now, if I was doing a new one and I didn't have those on there, same thing. I would go, well, let me turn live count back on, enable live count. And then I am going to go like this, and it gives me the option for draw new or select existing. So if I'm just doing a new takeoff, I'm going to hit draw new. You can see it add my one count there, and then I'm going to commit right there. So since that links to live count, I have to delete it here, and then it'll pull it off from there. So that is how you would add those on there. Now we have a few more to do on a few more devices on here, but I kind of want to show you in order to keep like a clear live count dashboard, or, because it can get kind of murky on here. But you can see right here, right? So if we select something different, like there is, and you can add a system too if need be. So like I could add a new system on here. Like let's say I wanted fire alarm branch cabling. Okay. Okay, so that would show right here. And what's going to happen is it's going to clear this whole system out because now we're working on a new system. If I unclick this, it's going to show you everything. So like for this one, right, because I want to be able to look and see which each device is and not have it be clouded out by the previous markups that we made. So anytime you change system, it will clear the markup, right? And unless you have nothing checked. So for this, I am going to come in with we know the corridor is free air, right? So we could factor doing that free air in there. And let's see here, they should have it on here. But this is where it gets kind of murky, right? Because I usually would just slap some conduit run around the whole place because the free air doesn't really give you the right amount of labor hours for this. So like I think just for this print in general, we're at we're at 17 to 11. That's actually not that bad. 211, we're at 300, probably like 350 right now. Which I'd probably say just for mounting those devices is fairly accurate. So what we are going to do. We would just do like fire alarm wire, and then we'd have to do a common assembly that's going to include. So right now, I'll tell you what, we're going to build our own common assembly. So to kind of factor this in, because this is mostly a ceiling free air with just J hooks, and this has got a conduit ceiling devices roughly. And I thought they had one in here, but maybe they don't. Yeah, it's just wired. So we could do a item database, wired system devices, fire alarm. Let's see here. Wire. Where is it? There we go. Okay. Cable, and then we're going to be looking for. should have fire alarm on here. Where is it? Okay, so I'm trying to, this is actually going to make more sense if we do it this way. So we're going to use hangers and supports, right? Because we have to put J hooks everywhere in order to run this fire alarm cable, because this is all above ceiling. And again, I would double check the architecturals just to make sure that that is correct, because some of this is going to be conduit, like out in this auditorium. So you're going to want to look at both the architectural drawings for this area to see what they're doing in that room. So you're going to want to look at the reflected ceiling plan on that just to make sure. And again, you're going to want to look at the wall layouts for those areas. I believe, is this it? No. It's our drawing. All right, now we're in the architecturals. Okay, that's just a roof plan. So let's see, 15, 16, 17. So they're putting new tile up on all the walls over there. In area A. Okay. So they're doing tile on all those walls too, it looks like. I don't know if we missed it. So they're doing the ceiling everywhere too. So they're dropping the ceilings down here and some of these wherever that C note is. For new constructions, that's all ceiling C1. Okay. D2, D2. It doesn't look like those are labeled right there. This kind of looks like their phasing plan. Overall work plans. So, is this your main light fixture? What are they doing right there? FE, I don't know